So natural language is one of the key applications of AI. If you think about it, we've been trying for this for a long time, and Alan Turing, who invented the Turing test, argued that's one of the key tasks of computers, to be able to interact with other humans without humans really knowing, is that a computer on the other side or a real human? And nobody's really passed that test yet, although I think we're getting close. It's because human language is very difficult to master. It has a lot of different complexities. There are a lot of different human languages, of course. We've tried in the past with kind of rule-based approaches, scripted approaches, even semantic approaches that kind of classify language in terms of its parts of speech and so on. It's been really quite difficult. But still, there are lots of applications of this. You can see why organizations would be interested. We'd like to interact with our customers. And if, as in many cases, we're not quite confident yet turning our customers over to our NLP system, we'll say, well, let's try it out on our employees, maybe to help them with their IT problems or to check their vacation day balance or something like that. A lot of companies are interested in having natural language be the front-end interface for various types of enterprise software, from spreadsheets all the way to enterprise resource planning systems. And increasingly, when we interact with complex devices, cars, for example, we can do so in language. Now, this ability has been present for a while, but it hasn't really been accurate enough for us to really want to use it all that much. Most people don't use the NLP-based interfaces for their cars. As the recognition of language gets to the 95, 99% level, we'll be much more likely to do that. So chatbots or intelligent agents typically have a variety of components, and this is just to show you how complex this can be. First, we have to kind of recognize what's coming in from the human in terms of what are they saying, how do we make sense of it, and then we have to sort of figure out really how what the human is asking for relates to what we can offer. So there's classification of intent. There's a dialogue manager that keeps track of the language going back and forth. We have business rules and logic that dictate what we can say and how it relates to each other. Sentiment analysis to maybe know how the customer is feeling about the interaction, and then a knowledge base that suggests, what kinds of answers can we actually give. And then once we figure all that out, we have to generate the knowledge and go back to the customer or the employee and say, here's our response to what you say. That can be a pretty complex set of capabilities. Now, just as one real-life example, you have this chatbot at Bank of America called Erica, started in March 2018 in Rhode Island and has now been rolled out to all states. Already they have more than 1 million users, so it's been pretty successful, although it's pretty limited. It does work with a variety of different interfaces. It can be voice-based or text-based, or you can just use tap and gesture interfaces on your smartphone app, mostly to address structured transactions. What's my account balance, or did my paycheck get deposited? There is a search capability that's been quite popular. Show me all the things I bought from Amazon this month, which you can also get from Amazon, but that has been popular with Erica. And it integrates some financial literacy content, and eventually Bank of America says there will be personalized recommendations, probably saying, you need to save more if you ever want to retire, for example. Kind of a higher end tool comes from this vendor IPsoft. It's called Amelia, and they have a human who is sort of the avatar for Amelia. IPsoft was in the IT automation business before. They had a tool called IP Center, and they kind of broadened out its capabilities so it could deal with a whole variety of problems. It does compete with Watson in the intelligent agent marketplace. There is some customization involved unless some other customer has already done, property and casualty insurance conversations or something like that. And then maybe you can take advantage of their early adoption. But even then, you'll probably have to put in your company's specific business rules and policies into the system. It usually takes at least a few months. It can learn a little bit. It can kind of observe how humans solve a particular problem that it couldn't solve. And after there's several of those, it can start to propose an answer itself. It has some pretty advanced attributes like the person conversing with it can change the subject during conversation and it'll pick that up. And it has some degree of emotional intelligence, like noting, this customer is really mad and maybe I should turn them over to a human supervisor. Like most chatbots, I found that Amelia, even though it's a pretty sophisticated tool, has often been used first internally for things like HR or IT help desks or to help agents solve problems, and then they pass the answer on to customers just because, we're not quite ready to turn customers completely over to this capability. There is a bank in Sweden, SE Bank, that has adopted Amelia with a name change. They called it Aida for some reason. I was assuming that was a Swedish name, but apparently it isn't. But first they had to translate Amelia's capabilities into Swedish, which took quite a while. And first they said, we're going to try this out on employees on an IT help desk. And Amelia did pretty well, provided 24/7 support. Now she's considered a trainee on the customer service desk. And I think SE Bank has done a good job of saying, this is just kind of a beta capability. Try it out. We're not replacing anything else. But if you want, you can talk to a human agent, but if you're calling, at 2 a.m., maybe Amelia might be the only thing available. Give it a shot. Give her a shot. Customer service agents apparently like her because she takes some of the most boring and repetitive kind of customer questions, and nobody's lost their jobs yet. In fact, the SE Bank people say that's not their intention at all.